Hello, warriors. Welcome to the You Movement. I don't know. So yesterday's video, I was talking about another fear purge that I was going to, which is common to supersede a more identity dissolving, ego collapse, things crashing on the floor. Today, my mind has been very busy trying to grasp at the collapsing reality, not being too successful at it. I've been through ego death more times than I can count now, because it happens in chunks. I joke a little bit that my ego must have been the size of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and it's taken a lot of work to chip away and get it to dissolve down to size. And today I've been in the who am I, what is happening, what is going on, what am I doing, where am I going? I don't know. I have no idea. Talk about feeling totally lost, which is a surefire sign that you are going through some more ego dissolving, because, ego has a construct of what it believes that we are. And when we go through this process of ego dying, first, the ego does a last stand kind of thing. Like, it tries to freak you the fuck out because it doesn't want to dissolve. It doesn't want to collapse. So that fear cycle that precedes it is common, because it's going to try to convince you maybe you're going insane, or maybe you're dying, or maybe the world is collapsing, or anything. The ego wants to regain control as much as it possibly can. My ego has been very busy trying to convince me of any numbers of catastrophes yesterday. And as I said, I was doing all my routines to keep the fear at bay. And then today it's been just... what is happening? What is going on? What? And at one point this evening, I decided to do some meditation in front of a mirror, because when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't recognize that person at all anymore. And so I did some mirror work today, and it's not my favorite. I've never particularly been overly vain and spending too much time in front of a mirror, because I've never really particularly understood the reflection coming back at me. But when you're going through ego death, that reflection is even less familiar. So I did a little bit of mirror work where I just sat in front of a mirror and talked to the reflection staring back at me. And we had a good old conversation, showing some support and some empathy. All the things that I wish somebody else would say to me, I was saying to myself. So loving, kind, caring energy. I'm sorry those situations happened to you. I am here for you. I love you. All of those, because in hearing, there were some tears. Of course, there were some tears, some last little purges. And my ego has been grasping on to fear to keep all its constructs in place. So I like to look at my ego as being given the mission back when I was a very young child to be on guard and to tuck in behind this electric fence all of my wounds, my inner child wounds that I wasn't mature enough to be able to handle back then. And so it was given the ultimate task of don't let me go behind there and deal with that stuff. And it was like, aye, Captain, I'm not going to let you go back there. I'm going to distract you. I'm going to distort. I'm going to deny. I'm going to dance. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to prevent you from going in there. And what happens is that the ego's power and strength of ability begins to collapse as that electric fence begins to collapse, and everything falls out onto the floor. All your inner child wounds, all of your fears that you don't want to address. So for me lately, it's the fears that have been arising are fears of failure and fears of fitting in and fears of who am I and fears of just you name it. They're just spewing all over the floor. And so now that I've learned to be in the observer and just see, oh, this is what's coming up. Ego was like, don't want you to deal with this. Don't want you to deal with this. And instead I was like, okay, no, we're dealing with this mess now. Ego. So ego's was a little bit disgruntled and fighting back its last stand of trying to maintain its power, because the problem is ego gets a little bit too much control and wants to run everything. And when your ego, which has built these walls, so you picture, here's your electric fence, and it's built up these walls so that you couldn't get behind it, and each one of the bricks is an aspect of an identity, so fear of failure might be one of those bricks, and so failure might be written on that brick. And then on this brick over here you might have mother, because you've been a mother. And on this brick over here you might have your family name or your legal name, which I got rid of those bricks a while back. You might have your country. I'm Canadian. And you might have your, I like wearing makeup. I like this. I like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. So the entire wall that ego has built to prevent you from getting in behind where all those wounds are, is all your labels, all your stuff, and not just the stuff that you understand, but your subconscious stuff as well are there, as well as the projections of stuff that others have placed upon you over all of your life. So if a family member has labeled you as being a failure, that's where that failure brick might have originated, and it may be playing out in your subconscious. So some of the bricks you can't see. And through your awakening process, it's like this, you're coming at this wall and just bashing it over and over and over again until it absolutely crumbles all around you. And then when it crumbles all around you and all the stuff falls out that you were hiding, and you deal with all that, and you give the inner child all the love that it needed to have, and you do all the shadow work, and you pick up the bricks that you couldn't see and say, hey, failure brick, is this really an accurate, am I going to rebuild my ego with this brick? Nah, nope, I am not. See you later. And so you go through a process of getting rid of half these bricks. Some of them you might think, yeah, I want to rebuild, because ego wants to rebuild as quickly as possible. Ego wants to rebuild and hold on to the original bricks, but you're like, no. And so it's like you take half of the bricks away, and you might give one or two new bricks, and you can say, here's a new brick. You can have ego. You can hold on to spiritual warrior. How about that brick? You can build with that. Or you can build with writer, because I've been doing writing lately. So we'll add writer to the list. But the difference is, this time when you go through the process of rebuilding ego, is you're not really attached to any of those bricks. You're not concreting them in. You're just letting him play with the bricks, because it keeps him busy. and so, it's learning on the last 3 years to let go of ego and not really attach yourself to any of those ideas about self anymore. And what happens is you go through a phase of kind of no man's land, where you're not who you were, and you're not yet who you're going to be, and you're just kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who I am. I'm surrendering to the process. Soul is coming in and taking over, and I'm just going to be led and go with the flow of it. And at first, it's very difficult because it's not comfortable. And if you have trauma, it's even less comfortable. You like those constructs. Those constructs kept you safe. That nice wall kept you behind, in a tower of sorts. And as it all comes crumbling down and you're just left with nothingness, I am nothing. I am something. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not what you think I am, but if you want to call me that, call me that. It's not going to bother me anymore. And so your life becomes a kind of clean slate. It's like absolutely wiping the slate clean, and anything can be written on it. And where ego might want to write on it as quickly as possible to rebuild, this place that I'm in today is just more acceptance of, nothing's permanent anyways, so it doesn't really matter what you try to attach to. That's going to shift and change anyways. Yesterday when I was out in my hot tub, I was just staring at my two favorite trees, and all the leaves have fallen off of one, and the other one has got just a couple left, and it just reminded me that nothing is permanent. You have to let go seasonally. And it was very symbolic for me of what was about to happen that I hadn't really actually mentally caught up with, because my mind sometimes is like, what is happening? What's going on? I'm so confused. I'm going through complete identity loss here. I don't know. And what happens is there can be such dramatic shifts and changes in who you think you are, and your likes and your dislikes. I've completely changed so many times over along this process that there's not really much point in grasping on to anything. And so I'll just practice, I think, for the next little while, more meditation in front of a mirror and to familiarize with who I am now, that I'm more ensouled than I was before. And as for what I'm going to do, I don't have a clue. Each day I comes and I do what I'm motivated to do in that moment that soul directs me or guides me. Because letting go of control is an ego aspect. It's not soul. Soul doesn't need to be in control because, soul is in control. Spirit is in control. So the more you can let go and just let whatever shows up, which is where I'm at the present moment in time. I was like, geez, should I do something today? Should I get a letter to send off and I was like, nah. If they need to get in touch with me, they'll get in touch with me. If somebody needs something, they'll get in touch with me. I'm not chasing anything. I'm not even chasing to figure out who I am. So I think it's important to note, because you've seen the last few days' videos, that it was like emotions being released. So first we had physical symptoms, then we had emotional flooding and a fear purge for me, as it could be a different emotion that purges, and then we have the ego going collapsing on the floor and saying, right, I surrender to whatever it is meant to be, will be. Who knows? So if you think you might be going through some identity collapse or ego death, and you're struggling with confusion, a loss of knowing who you are, a loss of direction, a loss of, you 1 minute you might feel committed to a certain life, and then you're like, hey, I think I want to do this now. I think I like something totally different now. I'm going to try this on for size. Let me know how you're getting on with it. If you're struggling with any of that stage of first physical sensations, then emotional releases, and then ego dissolving, and you want some help, feel free to reach out and book a one-on-one Zoom with me. The way to do that is to send off an email to justbeing@gmail.com, or you can get in touch with me through Messenger over there on Facebook. Thank you for all the likes, the shares, and the subscriptions. I greatly appreciate all your comments and your support on this journey, and I'm sending you all my absolute love. Peace out.